Hello again, college football fans. Well, Danny Tanner is dead, Rosen Island dead, Mr. Tibbs dead, children are crying in the street, and the Georgia Bulldogs are your 2021 national champions of college football. And the nightmare was real. It's been a week to the day since it actually happened, where the Bulldogs defeated my beloved Crimson Tide 33-18 in the national championship game. And, welcome to the hellscape that is 2022. I am coming out of my malaise. I'm beginning to, for a long time I was disappointed and disillusioned and disconsolate, and I'm sorry for the alliteration, but, the O.J. Simpson trial was a big part of my formative years. Johnny Cochran, sending one up your way. Georgia, they did it. They're going nuts down there in Athens. They're doing their best Big Ten fan impressions. They're setting things on fire. They love Stetson Bennett down there, and I would love to be happy for the Georgia faithful, but they're just all terrible people. I mean, I've never met a Georgia fan that was what you could call a good person, so it's going to be hard for me to feel happy for them, even though it's been such a long time since they've been able to celebrate anything like this. But, they're just bad people. They love Stetson Bennett, and I don't blame him for that. He deserves all of the adulation that comes his way. But you know who else they love? Cosby. They're on StubHub right now trying to see if Cosby has started his comeback tour because they want him to come to the area. They will go as far as Raleigh, north, south, they'll go as far as Orlando to see that guy. They love him. They want to sit up front, and they want to tell him that they were behind him. They want to tell him that those ladies were lying and that it was all a conspiracy because they didn't want him to buy NBC. That's what they want in Athens, guys. I mean, that's what you're cheering for if you're happy for those guys. So, I like to tease. I like to poke. Take it easy. Everybody just take it easy. We're gonna get through this. We're going to get to the 2022 football season. I promise you. But now we're in the off season. The old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, he don't like being called the old ball. Maybe the head ball coach. Maybe call me the head ball coach. Well, at your age, Steve, you're lucky we don't call you the hurtling towards death at a rate exponentially faster than the day before ball coach, because you're old. Get over it. But you're right about the fact that it is talking season now. The playing and the walking business is over, but it's going down pretty much like I said, the off season. We're still right in the middle of the thick of all of the transfer portal. With NIL now, everything is just a free-for-all. I like it personally. I think that we should add steroids to the mix. Again, I like to poke. But the transfer portal, it giveth and it taketh away. We've got a good incoming running back from Georgia Tech. We got a great cornerback from, that's what they say is a great cornerback from LSU, which we're all happy about. But now we've got people going out. Obviously, the NFL draft is always a huge exodus for Alabama players. But I think going into next year, Alabama's going to be favored to win the West. Georgia will be favored to win the East. Doesn't mean that's going to happen, but that is the logical choice at this point. But like I said, there's still a lot to go. I mean, we've still got a long way to go until signing day, which I believe is February the 2nd. Could be a lot of roster changes between now and then. Some of the more disappointing departures for Alabama, early departures, unexpected early departures, really. I guess Christian Harris is probably the one that I'm most upset about. I mean, it makes sense that he's leaving. He's a uber talent. I mean, looked like a monster since the day he sat on the campus. But the idea of having the entire linebacking core intact again next year was very exciting and a titillating, prospect for me to think about. But it's not going to happen. He declared yesterday, I believe. Obviously, Mechie's gone. Williams is gone. And, yeah, we're loaded again. Bryce is obviously coming back. Will Anderson has to come back. They both don't really have any other choice. Unless they want to go to some other school. But why would those guys want to do that with the positions that they have at Alabama right now? But obviously we're going to be loaded again. And like I said, favored to win the West. But I have some concerns. The defense, we went into this season saying that this was supposed to be the best Alabama defense that we've had since the old days of Kirby Smart and Jeremy Pruitt, at the helm at defensive coordinator. But you know, the back end, we had. I mean, this year, going into this year, I think seems more like a reality to me that we have a chance to be really good on defense again. Maybe not as good as Georgia last year or as good as the old vintage Nick Saban defenses, but we certainly look like we have the potential to have the best back end. I mean, we've got our entire safety core coming back, Jordan Battle and Helms. I love those guys. Kool-Aid McKinstry and Kyrie Jackson are coming back. And they're both very young, but they, you know, will have another year under their belts. Kool-Aid especially looks pretty good at that position. And then we've got the Ricks from LSU coming to shore that up a little bit. Most of the linebacking core is coming back. And, you know, the only big-time guy we're losing on the front is Phil Mathis. And that's a big loss because he did develop into quite a monster up there. But I love Tim Smith. I love Byron Young. They will both be coming back. So the defense, you know, barring injury, should be pretty stout next year. I think that our running game is going to get more back to what we're used to at Alabama. Obviously, the injuries we had back there this year were, in the end, too much to overcome. Most of the offensive line will be coming back, which is huge. They were very young this year, never quite got gelled together. Some of that had to do with injury. Some of it just had to do with being new because, you know, the O-line, it does take a while to gel as a unit. I'm a little bit concerned about our receiving core. You know, going into that national championship game, if you had told me that Jameson Williams was going to go down early in the game like he did, obviously I would have adjusted my score prediction, but I still probably would have felt like Alabama had a good chance to win because I would have figured that somebody would have stepped up in that young up-and-coming receiver room to make some big plays, but you know, nobody really did. Ja'Cory Brooks didn't do much. Ajay Hall, I was hoping, you know, once he got a chance to get onto the field that he would look more like he did in the A-Day game, but, you know, there were flashes. But there was a chance where he did get open and could have got a touchdown, and just his hands, you know. I do believe that we have been very, very spoiled at Alabama the last few seasons in the receiving department. I mean, Jerry Jeudy and Ruggs and Devontae Smith, and then the year later Jalen Waddle coming. That's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of receiver room right there. And, you know, it continued, the stellar play at receiver continued last year because we got the Williams, the Ohio State transfer, and then we still had Mechie, who was a real standout. But now we're having to kind of reset at that receiving room. And I'm not saying that they can't develop, but they're obviously not the just out-of-the-box studs that we have grown accustomed to from those guys that I said before. But, you know, they tons of talent, obviously, tons of speed, and maybe they're just, you know, late bloomers. And, you know, like I said, transfer portal is always open, so we could get some help out of there again. So who knows? It's still, you know, I know everybody always says it's way too early to tell, but now with the NIL and the transfer portal and everything like that, it's really, really too early to tell what anything's going to look like. But those are just some of my initial thoughts going into next season. I had some fun early in the video at the Georgia fans' expense. Get used to that because, you know, you don't hear me making fun of South Carolina fans and Vanderbilt fans too much. But you guys are public enemy number one now. So there will be some extra poking and teasing coming your way. Obviously, I still love to hate on the Mississippi schools. Nothing I hate worse than Mississippi State or Ole Miss getting all uppity and thinking that they have a chance to compete in the West. But we'll talk more about that, more about the other teams. But I wanted to get back on and say that, you know, the world is still spinning around, and we are going to make it through this, Alabama fans. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Don't know how many videos I will be making. Don't know what direction we're going to go with the thing. Really, the only plan I had was to talk about the season, and we've done that. And so now I guess it's up to me to decide which direction this channel is going to go in until we get back to in season for next year. But that's all I got right now. Thanks a lot, and hopefully we will be talking to y'all again soon.